What is up, everybody? It is Mr. M, and today I have a response video to Pat from GroundZeroSalem. He recently hit 500 subscribers, so congratulations, man. You deserve every single one of them. And the video I'm going to be doing a response to is Beloved Missteps and Stinkers, which is basically records I like from a certain band that other people think suck, or they just don't think it's anywhere near as good as their other records. And he's doing a contest along with this, which would be cool if I won. But even if he wasn't doing a contest, I'd still probably think this is a great topic and still do a response video on. And with that, I'm going to start with my favorite band, Green Day, with Warning. So it's released on Reprise Records, which is a subdivision of Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure. Black vinyl. I believe this was a 2009 first pressing. I think 3 or 4 of their records didn't get first press until 2009. Warning came out in 2000, so that's almost a 9-year wait for vinyl. And this record wasn't fucking Dookie. That's basically, I think that's the reason why people didn't like it. And there's not as much memorable stuff on here. People couldn't relate to the lyrics as much. Three of the 4 singles were the final 3 songs on the record, and then the other single was the first song on the record. There's the track listing. And this was also an incredibly diverse record. They had 2 acoustic songs, which was the opening track and the closing track, Warning and Macy's Day Parade. They had a polka-like song with Misery. Hold On had a harmonica. Jackass had a saxophone. My favorite song is Deadbeat Holiday, which the band has only ever played once. But it's just not as, for most people anyway, this is just not as memorable of a record as Dookie was, or even Insomniac or Nimrod, which came between Dookie and Warning. And as I talked about in my last vinyl video, Insomniac was kind of like the start of a decline for Green Day, where they started going in a musically different direction, and fans didn't like it. People wanted to hear Dookie over and over again, and so they just stopped giving a shit about Green Day. And I think I might have said it. If I didn't, that's the only record that Green Day has released that has not gone gold since they've signed to a major label. And if I'm wrong about that, it is because of these 3 records: Uno, Dos, and Tre. This was a trilogy of records released between September and December of 2012, totaling 37 songs, along with a documentary and 8 music videos accompanying this. And I'll go over each one individually. I don't want to spend too much time on it, though. Uno. Apparently, this is the least favorite, at least in the eyes of critics. From a fan point, I think Uno or Dos is much preferred. I prefer Dos. That's my favorite out of the trilogy. But Uno is the one where people got the most exposure to Uno because of the promotions, the shows that they were doing leading up to the release of Uno, which released in September. 6 of the 8 music videos were from songs on this record. And between all of it, all 3 of the records, there was a lot of diversity. There was Kill the DJ, which is the poppiest song, probably the poppiest song, in my opinion, that Green Day has released. Troublemaker, which lyrically sounds like a fucking 12-year-old wrote it. And then officially, there was 4 singles released for it, which was the most out of the trilogy. And every song on this is pretty damn catchy, whether it's because lyrically because some of the songs do have great lyrics. I think all the songs except for Troublemaker have great lyrics. And here's the backside if anyone gives a fuck. Um, Musically, it's a fucking phenomenal record. And then Dose. There's only one single that was officially released for this, which was Straight Art. Green Day's singer ended up having to go to rehab because he had a meltdown on stage at a festival show right before Una released. So Dose and Trey didn't really get a whole load of promotion. And to me, anyway, this is the most diverse record. I shouldn't say this is the most diverse record. Trey's the most diverse record. This is the most aggressive record out of all of them. Got songs like Stop When the Red Lights Flash, It's Fuck Time, which no one's ever going to get laid to. Ashley, Baby Eyes, Wow That's Loud. That wasn't extremely aggressive, but it was still more on the harder side. And then you had Nightlife, which was a kind of a hip hop like song. And then Amy and See You Tonight, which were electric guitars, but I don't feel like they should have been. They should have been acoustic guitars. They were both very chilled, very laid back kind of songs. See You Tonight opened the record, and Amy closed the record, so it kind of started really calm and then ended really calm with a mass amount of chaos in the middle of it. And then Trey. I know this is the beloved Missteps and Stinkers, but I don't know why this apparently got the most praise from critics. Because I love it, and that's the reason why it's on this list. But there's just not as much memorable about this as there is Uno and Dos. And that probably has to do with the diversity of it. Because you have Forgotten, which is pretty much entirely piano ballad. They got some strings, and the full band ends up playing for a very small part of it. Dirty Rotten Bastards, which is a 6.5 minute long song, and then X Kid. And that was pretty much it for me. And then, 99 Revolutions 2, and that became a staple during their set when they were touring on this record. And then, everything else is just not as memorable. Sex, Drugs, and Violence didn't deserve that song title because it's about none of it. Drama Queen was an acoustic song. Little Boy Named Train was a bit weird. But, yeah. And I think all of them are great. Like I said, I think how the critics thought Trey was better than the other two is beyond me. I'm not going to fucking try to understand the critics, though. But, even for some of the hardcore Green Day fans, having 37 songs released within a 4-month period was too much for them. But I believe I was 14 when they announced it. I turned 15 before Dose was released. So to have my favorite band release all these songs at once, along with the music videos and a full-length documentary about the making of it, it made me fucking happy, and it still makes me happy, you know. Even though I do listen to these records pretty regularly, it's still like I still feel when I go and listen to some of it, it's like, how do people fucking forget that Ashley? How do people fucking forget about that song? It's a fucking great song. And then this next one here, I probably should have given a listen before I made this list. Unborn by 6 Feet Under. And pretty much the reason why it's on here, this is the first record that I bought, so there's still a nostalgia to it. Whenever I listen to it, whenever I do end up listening to it again, I have a bunch of other music I'd rather listen to instead. But everyone that I talk to or that I see online, they pretty much talk about how like 2011 up to now is a load of shit for 6 Feet Under. Like, it's the most pointless fucking garbage in death metal, pretty much. That's how they word it anyway. And this came out in 2013, so to all these people who are talking shit about 6 Feet Under, obviously this is included. And I bought this simply off that album cover. that is still one of the coolest fucking album covers in my opinion. But the only songs I even fucking remember is the opener, Neuroosmosis, and Incision. And fucking amazing death metal songs. That's all I can really say about it. From what those two songs and the small parts that I can remember of the other songs, I can't remember what they're from. If that even made sense, I don't know. I still know why people don't like it. I think that was also part of a double album. I think the other part, Undead, came out the year before, and so I think that might have also had kind of the same effect that Green Day's Trilogy had, where there was a bunch of songs within a certain amount of period and people just got fed up with it. Next up, Dimmu Borgir with Abrahadabra. From what I've seen, the main reason people don't like this is because it's not as much of a black metal record as all their other shit, which doesn't really affect me in any way. They put a lot more into the symphony parts of it and the orchestral and the choir parts to it than they did more of the black metal parts, which I guess any other symphonic metal band name, I think that would have been great, but because it's under Dimmu Borgir, people just kind of wrote it off as being some shit. I mean, I don't understand why people don't like this. If you like any kind of symphonic stuff, well, if you like symphonic stuff that is heavily in metal, you would definitely like this. But I don't know. I fucking love it. I don't see how it ended up being such a shit record to other people. Next is Danger Days by My Chemical Romance. This record's been kind of picking up steam as of lately, and I don't see a particular reason why. Probably because My Chemical Romance broke up, but they broke up over 4 years ago, so that can't really be a good excuse. This was a follow-up to the Black Parade, and to follow up that record, it had to be fucking phenomenal. And this didn't live up to the Black Parade's expectations. For what it's worth, it's a concept record, just like Three Cheers and the Black Parade, and maybe even their first record. I don't know. I've actually never really listened to their first record more than a couple times, but people just kind of wrote it off, and they just kept going back to the Black Parade, much like Green Day fans kept going back from Warning and Nimrod to Dookie. They wanted to hear that. They didn't give a shit what the new stuff they were putting out, unless it was a replica of Dookie for the Black Parade. And because of that, of course, it gets overlooked. People don't care to check it out, and people just don't like it as much. I rank it pretty much, it might even be better than the Black Parade, truthfully. And even though I fucking have the Black Parade tattooed on me, I think it might even be better. Just the way that the songs are crafted, and the way the album is narrated too, it sounds just as good as the Black Parade. And the last record I got is Asking Alexandria with the Black. And the simple reason people didn't like this one is because of the new singer. Dennis Stoff replaced Danny Worsnop after he left the band, and it really sucks that people decided to abandon it, because this is a phenomenal record. Everything about it. Let It Sleep is the heaviest song on the record, no doubt. The Black is kind of new metal-y, so I guess I see where people kind of might have taken that the wrong way. Gone is a piano and orchestra-like song, so that was the most different song that Asking Alexandria has ever done. Dennis Stoff ended up quitting the band, so I don't think any of the songs are ever going to be performed. live off this record ever again. If it was, it would definitely be Gone, because their guitarist Ben Bruce sings on that song. He's the one who sings it entirely. And then if you were a fan of metalcore, like super generic metalcore, pretty much, this is a fucking record for you. Like, in all seriousness, and people, all the Asking Alexandria fans, the majority of Asking Alexandria fans previously, um, they just wrote it off again because of the singer. They didn't like the singer change, so to them that album is garbage. And like I said, because their singer left, Dennis Stoff left again, and Danny Warsnop is back. They're not going to perform any of that record ever again. They did a North American tour and a European tour after Dennis left, and Dennis was supposed to be on that tour, but he fucking quit. And so Danny ended up coming back and filling in. He didn't officially come back until earlier this year, but they did those tours and they didn't perform any songs from the Black. They just did the 3 records previous to that they did with Danny. And I guess that worked out pretty good. And also with Dennis leaving, all the fans that had abandoned Asking Alexandria because of the singer change came back because of the singer change. And Asking Alexandria released a new song with Danny on vocals, and I can see that in the comment section on YouTube. People are like, I left Asking Alexandria, I stopped listening to Asking Alexandria because of the singer change. Now that the original singer's back, I'm back. Basically, that's how their logic works. I still think, again, it's a flawless record. Metalcore is, as much as people are opinionated about metalcore, I don't mind the genre. There's plenty of metalcore bands that I do like. I didn't mind the metalcore sound that was on the Black, but other people obviously did, and so they stopped giving a shit about Asking Alexandria, stopped giving a shit about that record. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Those are all the records that I love that everyone else thinks that they suck or they don't think is good. Once again, Pat, congratulations on 500 subscribers. I'm going to leave a link to his channel. If you're subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. He puts out great fucking content multiple times a week. And yeah, that's it pretty much. If you liked it, thanks for liking it. If you did subscribe, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you whenever I do my next video. Peace.